I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these really fun Christmas ornaments, decorations, whatever you want to call them. I've been watching a lot of, the channel is Claire Disarray. I don't know her first name, unfortunately. I am going to try and find it out. And she's done lots of designs on these ones, and I've practiced making all of those, and then I wanted to make my own spin on it, so I've decided to do a cat and a dog one. So these are what I'm going to show you how to make today. They're really fun. Then, I mean, yeah, with that, you do it, if you do it the same way as what I've done, you need to bake them twice. That's just simply so that you can put a backing on, you know, for if you want to just conceal your workings on the back. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But they're really simple. All you need is your hands and a few cutters if you've got them, just to make life a bit easier. And that's it. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make them. So to make these tree ornaments or decorations, whatever you want to call them, we're just using some basic shape cookie cutters that you've got in different sizes. Now, I've been doing a batch of these for a fair that I'm going to be doing in December. So I've been using different shapes and sizes. This is another one that I've got. So these ones, the squares and the round ones, are probably the most common ones that you can get. These were from Wilkinson's back when me and my husband moved in together, but they're closed now, unfortunately. But if you just type in online cookie cutters, or yeah, because so far me and my husband's not on our 3D printer, we've not got these shapes sorted out yet. But you can get them anyway if you just go into the baking department of any store that sells that sort of thing anyway. And you just want some that are graduating in size, just so that we can create that frame around the piece that I've showed you in the intro. So what shall we go for today? I'll do some square ones because I've been doing quite a few round ones. Now what you're going to need to do is get yourself 2 different colours of clay. Now this is how I've been batch doing it. So you just want to get the sizes that you want in. Now, depending on how big you want. Now, I know this one, the smallest one's going to be way too small from what I'm wanting to do, and that one probably will be as well. So I think that possibly might be too big. I think we'll go with that one. You might be able to see things a little bit better, because I think if we go with that one, it's going to be too small. So, right, so I'm going to go down with these ones, because I'm going to have the frilly bit on the outside and the straight going on the in, so it's not going to leave me too much of a frame, but that's okay. If you wanted a bigger frame, just go for the next size down. So what you want to do is just start out by cutting some of your big ones out. Where's my block gone? Now this can hurt your hands when you're pressing down on this, so if you've got an acrylic block, just press down on it on that. If you're using the round ones, you can twist them like this and that'll loosen it up, but obviously because I'm using the fancy edges, I can't on this one. So I'm going to do 2 of these. Oh, I forgot to say, my clay is rolled out on the thickest setting of my pasta machine. If you've not got a pasta machine, you can roll it out using some strips of cardboard, and put them underneath your roller, and you'll get it to the thickness that you want. Just obviously have as many layers as you want in, care how thick it is, but I've got the pasta machine, so I'm using those. So I'm just going to take that off, and then you want to take your other colour. Now the white that I'm using is Female Galaxy. I didn't know they did all this range until a few weeks ago, and now I keep finding it in the shop, so I've bought some. Right, so I'll do this one. Hiding my acrylic block from myself. Now obviously depending on how you're making it, these will be how much clay you need to roll out, because I'm wanting to do quite a few of each of these, so what's come out now? There we go. Now if it's not gone completely through. Sometimes I've not got enough pressure by my hands to do it. Just peel them off like this, and then you can roll this back out and make some more if you're wanting to make more just in these. And then like that, if you get little bits, you can pull it off, and we can sort of smooth those out just like with a, you know, a round tool or something, but we'll do that in a bit because I want to keep these stuck to the glass mat at the moment. Apologise, I have to keep having a drink because I've got a bit of a sore throat at the minute. So if I keep going for a drink, I do apologise. Right, so then you want to go for your smaller size. Then that's not going to leave me, in fact looking at it now, that's definitely not going to leave me much of a border at all. So I'm going to go with the next one, but I'm using the plain edge side this time. And then you just want to line it up so you've got an even border going all the way around. That's about right. I'm trying to look in the camera, but it's not helping me at all. Now you could do it both the frilly side. Just wanted to go like this way so it gives me a bit of a bigger border. And same with the others. And another tip I'd say, which I've not done just looking at the edges of the cutters, you can wipe your cutters down in between uses so that it reduces the amount of clay transference from one colour to another one. So last time I used these I think I had red on it and just got a tiny little bit of red here, but I can get it off. You can always use a bit of rubbing alcohol or a baby wipe. Acetone, I've heard that one as well, you can use that, you know, just to get little bits of clay out. White clay is the absolute worst for getting bits in it. No matter what you do, you will always get something in it, so yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. Right, so then I'm going to just loosen them up. Now don't worry if your frame comes a little bit out, just like that one has done, because it's going to go back into shape in just a second. Now, because I've been making that many of these, I've been doing it sort of in a conveyor belt sort of fashion. So I've been doing like 8 of them at a time, so I've had it all laid out in front of me, and now I've got a nice bowl of them ready for the fair. Now I'm just going to say, before I go on any further, I can't remember if I said in the intro or not, or whether if I will say it in the front, just ignore me. These original designs I copied from Clay Disarray, and she did lots of other designs and things like that, and so I practiced a fair bit with those, and then I decided I want to go ahead and have a tweak and have a go at doing my own sort of designs of it. Hence this is why I've come forward with the cat and dog one, and I'm hoping that there will be a few other ones to show you, but I just want to say that now in case I forget to say it later on. So now what I've been doing, I've just been taking one of the outer frames and then just pressing it down onto my acrylic block and taking one of the other ones and then popping it in there. Now obviously it's moved a little bit when we're taking it off, so just press it in gently. There we go. And you just want to take your roller, a little bit of gold on the white there, and we're just going to roll it out gently. You don't want to press too hard on it, we're just trying to get both pieces to stick together fully. So yeah, the designs that I've used of, I'm sorry I don't know her name, but her channel's Clay Disarray, I'll link her in the description box. She's got some fabulous designs, and I just had to make some. A friend of mine had recommended watching the video to me, and I've been a bit obsessed about making them since. So yeah, it's definitely been a joy. Right, so you can see that's gone a little bit crooked. It doesn't matter, I'm not worrying about it. We're putting that much decoration on them anyway, you're not really going to notice. If it bothers you, then just take a bit longer than that and just take it off here. There we go. Scrape it there. Now, as you can see, that one's going to, I'm just going to tease it out just a little bit. Yeah. Right, so then I'm just going to show you what we're doing with the, oh, that one's a bit too big. Just want something that's got a rounded edge, and just go round like this, and it'll just neaten up those edges. We are going to be backing these as well, so if there's any that's loose or anything, you know, like in the middle bit, you'll be able to get it off when you're at that stage. It'll all come together in the end. Okay. Now if you're using just plain sides, then you can just do the same technique. I'm just going with this thinner one simply because it's got the dips in it. Okay, so I'm going to get some more of those done and get these little flecks and things off. So once I've got all my bases made, I'll come back and we'll start doing the cat. Right, I've got all my bases made now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start showing you how to make the cat. Excuse me. Right, now it's a basic sort of head shape, which is probably going to be the same sort of ish shape for the dog as well. But what you want to do is, if you're making multiple of these, just find a way of measuring out your clay. It doesn't matter what shape clay cutter you use. It's just so that you're getting the same amount of clay for each of them. So you're getting a specific amount. But if you're just making the odd one, then don't worry about it. You can just grab a bit of clay and just keep going until you've done it. So I've got the heart cutters out, so it's not going to be staying a heart shape, but we'll see. Now the way to find out about it is, you just, depending on what size you've made your bases, will depend on how big you want to make your cat. So this is obviously a bit too small on its own, so I'm just going to add a bit more. So maybe not the whole heart shape, so it's always good to just add a bit at a time just to see. Like I say, it don't matter what shape cutter you're using, it's just so you've got a uniform amount for you to make. Yeah, so I think that's more about what I'm wanting to do. So I know that each of my cats needs to be one and a half of these when my clay is rolled out on the thickest setting. Move that to the side a bit. So when I did the cat, I'm just rolling it out so that it's nice and smooth. This is going to be the main bit that we see. So I'm just going to flatten it out a little bit. Now if you see odd little crack or whatever, just smooth it out as you're doing. I've got a little bit of gold in there. Not that it's going to make a difference, but I'll take it out now. So I've gone with black, just simply because the first one that I've made is black, but you can make it any colour cat that you want. I wanted something that was sort of like a big difference to the actual base I was making. So I'm just turning it sort of into a bit of a disc, and then I'm going to just pinch it so it goes down just a little bit, and then this again, or a piece of paper, it doesn't have to be acrylic block, but just a piece of paper, and I'm just going to mould it going around just so that it's more rounded. It's just so that it gives it, you know, like that 3D effect. Now depending on how thick and chunky you want your decoration to be is how big you make your little character. Now got that no, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing them on an angle, so the hole's going to be going at the top here. My cat's going to go in the middle, round about there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cat, the main part of my cat together on this, and then transfer it onto the base. So there we go. So I've got it nice and stuck down to the acrylic block again. So the next bit I'm going to do is I will do his mouthpiece, so around about here. Where's my white gone? Now, as you can see on this one, I've just done some little circles. So if you've got some round cutters, that'll make it easier. Or you could try and just cut out a little bit and sort of smush it down and turn it into a little bit of a disc. So there's always ways around of doing it. You don't have to always have the tools that I've got. So yeah, that's the size of it. So I'm just going to take 2 of these. I'm just going to pop them roughly where I want the mouth area to be. If they're a bit too thick for what you want, you can just squish them down. There we go. As you can see, that's just creating the mouthpiece. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my needle tool and I'm just going to swirl the end of the needle around on the top of the clay, just so that it gives a textured effect, so it looks like fur. Okay, so we've got that there. Now you don't have to do that, this is just what I've chosen to do because I wanted it to have some texture. So a few work creases and smooth them out. Now the next bit I'm going to do is his little nose. Now on this one I used a teeny tiny little heart cutter. Now if you've not got one of these, you can try and make a heart yourself just from a little bit of clay. But I've got these, so I'm using them to make life a little bit easier for myself. And is it that one? No, that one's too big. So it's the really teeny tiny micro cutters that I've used. I know I've got a heart somewhere, and it's should have got it out. Was it in? Oh no, it wasn't the mouth actually. The mouth. The heart shape. I have got a heart. You can use a heart, but it was a little apple sort of shape. Oh, there it is. I found it. So if you've not got a heart shape, if you've got the one that's like a little apple, it's the same sort on the top. You just have to pinch it. And then it just wants to get some pink clay. Now, because we're doing the decorating part of the cat, and it's not the main head, I'm going to use some of my cheaper clay, softer stuff that doesn't take much conditioning time. I've recently done a review on the Hobbycraft clay that's recently come out, and I'm not going to be using it for caning or anything like that, but it's perfect for things like this. So I've just got some pink, and I've got this already rolled out. Now with these teeny tiny cutters, you really need to use some sort of a release. You do for most of cutters, but because these are so tiny, the clay can get stuck really easily. So I'm just dipping it in water. Take it out. So it's picked it up with it, but I'm not worrying about that. Just get something that will fit down the gap and just push it out gently. There we go. Now if I'd not put the water on there, it would have been even harder to get it out. And then I'm just going to flatten it just a little, and then I'm going to wedge it in between those two circles. Okay? And then I'm going to take my needle tool again I'm going to put a line down the middle. Cat's noses and dog noses have a little line down the middle, and then just want to get some sort of ball tool or something. That's too big. And just see which one's going to be best for whatever size you've done. And I'm just putting 2 little dimples in the nose so it looks a bit more like a real nose. Okay, and then I'm just going to put on some little lips. So take a tiny bit. Rolling it out. You're not going to need a lot for this, so this is why I'm using my cheap clay, just simply because it's just for decorative pieces. It's not for anything that, like for the base, I wouldn't use it for the base because, you know, it's a lot more brittle than what you know, my Fimo is. I prefer the proper Fimo stuff for it. So I'm just going to cut 2 little pieces that are the same length, so probably about 1/2 inch, something like that. And then I'm just going to taper the edges off, so it's not just that brash ending. I'm just going to pop them around the bottom here and curl it around the cheek or the nose piece. I'm not really sure what to call that bit of the face, but there we go. And take your ball tool and just make sure that it's down where you want it. Now you could put in a little tongue if you wanted their tongue to be sticking out. That'd be quite fun, but I'm just going to be showing you the way that I've done the other one. Right, now we want some green for his whiskers. Now this bit you're wanting them to be very thin, because as you know, cats' whiskers are very fine. So this is a bit from when I did the other one, and you want to roll it out even thinner than what you've done for the lips. Now if you've got a really fine thing on your extruder, you can do that, but just for the sake of these little whiskers, I'm not bothering. There we go, that's really fine. So I'm going to put 3 on either side, so I want 6 pieces. So 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And again, I'm just going to taper one of the ends off. Oh, where did you go? Oh, you're on heel. I'm just going to pop them in here. So I want them to be closer together, actually on the centre bit, and then I want them to go out a little bit, so they're tapered. And same on the other side. A little bit more now, because you're probably not going to be seeing all that well. I'm missing a whisker. My whisker has disappeared. Oh no, it's there. Talking to my son again. Okay, that one going out. If you want them any longer than that, then feel free. I just wanted to do some short ones. Now we're going to do the eyes. So you're going to want a bigger ball tool than what we've used so far. So let's get them out. So these are my bigger ones. As you can see, I've got quite a few tools that I've collected over the years. And going to take the one with the smallest ones on. And we're going to make some crevices where we want the eyes to go. So just push down with one of your ball tools. Now again, this is entirely up to you how big you want to make the eyes. Okay, so we've got the little dimples for the eyes, and we want to get our white back. And then I'm just going to take my circle cutters again. Again, it's just so that you've got the same amount of clay for each eye. And I'm just going to test to see whether if that's the amount that I want or if I want to put some more in. Okay. Just roll it into a ball. Then I'm just going to test it on there. So that is pretty much the right size for me. So I'm going to take another one to do the other eye. Because I've got black clay on my hands, the colour's coming off on my clay, but I can get that off. It's not the end of the world if you get something on, there's always a way to get around stuff. Yeah. Push them in, just so that they're same size. Then if you need to get your white of the eyes clean, now do it now before we put the pupil on. So I'm just using a wet wipe just to do that. You can also use a wet wipe to smooth off your base clay. That were another tip that I picked up from the clay disarray lady. She uses it for smoothing, it's fantastic. Right, so I'm just going to get a little bit of black. And then, again, it's up to you how big you want to make the pupils. I don't want them too big, so I always cut the end bit off first, just so that I'm getting a clean cut. Because when you're rolling clay out, it can be thinner at the ends rather than the, and the centre can be a bit more fatter. More balls. Okay, so I'm just going to take our smaller ball tool back. I'm going to put the little dimples in where they're going to go. And use the ball tool to press them down. And then we've just got the little ear left to do. Now, on the other one, I've given the cat a little hat. Okay, so we only need to really do one ear. So we want our black and our pink again. Now I'm going to go back to using my micro cutters again, and I want to get either a square or a triangle. So I'm just trying to, that's a square one, so that would be fine. So if you've got a little square one, put this one first, put the base out of. If you can tell, I like my cutters. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut this corner to corner to make a triangle. Just want to see whether if that's going to be the right size now, it's a bit too small. Okay, so let's see if we've got a triangle's going to be one should be right. So I just want to show you, you don't have to always have the exact same shape thing as what I've got. You can figure it out, or you could just cut it out with your blade. Absolutely fine. No, still a bit too small. Right, so let's try freehanding it. Probably I've got larger ones, but hey ho. No, that's a bit more like it. So now I'm just going to round that top of the ear off. So I've just got a round cutter, and I'm just going to take off that little tip right at the top and smooth it out. I just didn't want that sort of really sharp point on it. I just wanted it a little bit more softer. Okay. Then I'm just going to pop it into position where I want the ear. Okay. And then I'm just going to get one of my bowl tools and I'm just going to make sure that it presses into the head. Okay. And then this is when you can take your baby wipe, it'll blend it in and smooth it out, and then you're not getting any lines from a tool smoothing it out, and you're not getting fingerprints on it. Okay, so we've got our ear. Looks a bit silly with just one ear at the moment, but it will look better once we've got the hat on. So now you do want your smaller triangles, so this one will probably work better now. So cleaning the end of the cutter, like I said earlier, and probably best to do. Popping it there, I'm just going to push it down. Clean it up. The problem when you're working with black, it sticks to everything. So it's like the opposite of white. White attracts everything and black wants to just go on to absolutely everything. So that's what you can use your white for, and then a little just to straighten it up. And plus it gives it a bit of dimension if you push it in at the edges, because as we know, things are three-dimensional in the world. So there we go. Right, so now we want to make our little hat. So what colour shall we have that on this one? I think we'll have red. Yes, really bright red. So we want an even bigger triangle than what we've got for the ear. So I probably will go freehand on this one. So that's obviously way too big. So like that happens. It's also got a nice neat edge. And then just come down on one side. Yeah, that's more like it. Then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take that circle cutter that I used before and just a little bit of a curve, so because we want it to go flat up to the cat's head. And pop it to the side. And I'm rounding out the edges again. Sorry, my desk's getting quite a mess off screen. There we go. And then on the other one I put a little strip of gold going across. So where's my gold gone? Now if you want to use something so that you get things that are uniform sort of width and you know, so that you're not guessing at it, say if you're doing more than one, I like to use my strip cutters, and this is it's a set of 3 that we sell on Etsy. There's I think it's 3mm, 5mm and 10mm I think, but it's a set of 3 and on Etsy. I'll put the link in the description box, but it's fantastic for when you're doing something like this. Now I've not got all that much hand strength, to be fair, can't use my acrylic wog, but I'm just pressing it down as hard as I can. It will cut your clay, it's just depending if you've got as much. Oh, it's stuck to the plastic. Done. But it's made the mark, which is what I was just going to say. So cut this off. So if you haven't got the full pressure to be able to push it through the clay so it cuts, as you've just seen there, it leaves the impression of where you need to cut. So there we go. And then if you're doing a few of these, you know it's going to be the same width all the way along, and cut off your jagged edge. Sorry, somebody's just dropped something outside. Okay, and just push down like so. You could always thin this out a bit because this is just rolled out on my thickest setting from when I've put it back in the packet. I'm just going to push it into the side of the head so it sort of curls under. Okay. And then cut it off there at an angle. Smooth it off. Now you could always put some detail in with your needle tool. So, like this. Totally up to you, I'm just showing you the basics of how to put these together. Right, so that's the last bit on the cap. I've just got a little bit of black on the... So then I'm going to take him off of here, gently, just use my blade. Bring my base in, and I'm going to pop him sort of in centre, like that. Then push him down as best you can without obviously putting your fingers straight into your clay. Okay. Straighten up his whiskers because I've knocked them in transit. Okay. And then for the little tassel on the top, I'm just going to take a little bit of this and cut this in half because it's too thick for the tassel. And then just cut some little strips. These are just wedges really. You're making something like a little pom-pom thing for the top of the hat. And then, now, because I've already got clay on there, it's probably not the best one to use it for the outside, but it is what it is now, so I'm just going to pop them next to each other. So if you've seen party hats before, you'll see that they had like these little tassel bits at the end. So it's just something to make it look something like it. There we go. Sorry if I went off camera there, but you can see it's just got this little suggestion of a pom-pom. So I'm going to get cleared up now and we'll come back and do the dog. Right, so I've got all my bits ready for my little dog to put it together. So rather than boring you and talking all the way through it, it's basically the same process for the dog as it is for the cat, just slightly different positioning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work it through, speed it up, just put some music over the top so you can just watch me doing it. So I'm not boring you too much. So let's get going. So we've got our little dog finished there now. So we've got our two little characters. Out a little bit now, not working. And all that's left to do now is to actually just decorate the rest of your ornament. Now on the test one that I've made, I've put a little cracker at the bottom which I sort of just cut out freehand, punched out some little stars and cut out some holly berries and put them on the on the other corners. I've put the cracker on this one because when I did him it looked a bit in shock so I thought I needed to make something to explain the shock look on his face, so that's why he's a bit like that. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to do that off camera because you don't need to see me doing that. It's basically just cutting different shapes out as to how you want it to go. The only other thing that I will actually show you is for the little hole that you're going to need to put in to hang, just decide whereabouts you want that to be. So I'm going to go right there. So because I'm having him going on the corner, I'm just moving it around in a circle and then I'm just taking my ball tool and doing the same just to make the hole a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's our hanging hole. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to make some more of these and I'll decorate them up and I'll come back and I can show you how to bag them. They're all baked now and they've all been decorated. So I've just done the same as what I did on my sample piece. I've just put some holly leaves and some berries on the outside and I just used a plunger cutter that I got. If not, you can cut out your own holly leaves, but I've just used these for quickness. And then I've just balled up some little bits of red clay just to make the berries, and then I've put the little crackers on the bottom, and then I've just punched out some tiny little yellow stars again with another punch. I've just done the same on these. I apologise if there's a noise in the background that you can hear. Somebody's decided to start working on the car or something, and it's a bit noisy. Please. So what we're going to do now is we're going to back them. So I'm just going to take one of them. I'm not going to bore you going through watching me do all of them, but you just want to roll yourself out some backing clay. I've gone with the gold because there's a gold thing running through all of mine, and I've rolled it out on, I think it was a number 3 or 4, depending on how thick you want your ornaments to be really. I just want it thin just to basically neaten up the backs. If you look on the back, you know, they can be a little lumpy bumpy, so I just wanted to finish them off. So I'm just going to lay it out, and then we're going to take the size cutter that we used for the you know, the largest one. So, and then you just want to cut out the backing. Okay, and then I want to just take this off the bottom. So, get any of these little bits that are left over, just encourage them to come out where you don't want them. Okay, so we've got our piece now, and then you just want to take your ornament. Now I'm using some homemade poly clay. I'm just using the gold up because it's going with gold clay, and I don't really use it for much else really, apart from putting in moulds and baking them. And I'm just going to cover the back of the entire thing. Now poly clay is a bit thicker than your regular liquid clay. You can use regular liquid clay. I'm just using it because I made some just to try it out to see what it was like, and it's good for filling in cracks and things with different shapes when I've done those. I'm trying to think what I did. I think a previous video that I did, I'd had some little cracks on the outside of a cabochon, I think it was, I was making, and I filled in a little gap with this poly clay, you know, so it just filled it in a bit easier because it's thicker. But you can buy it, it's just this one's just basically a bit of regular clay mixed in with, for this one I used some Sculpey gold liquid clay, because I bought the liquid clays thinking, oh, I'll do absolutely loads of things with those, and I didn't. I'd been stuck in my organiser thing on my desk for ages and ages, so I thought I might as well use them up, try and make something that I'm more likely to use with it. I have put the gold and silver liquid clay into moulds in the oven, but because it's an effect one, the way that it bakes is it's sort of like a marbled effect, so you can't really, you can, if that's the look that you're going for, then that's absolutely fine. It's just that if you're wanting something to have an even colour throughout, you can't really do it with the metallic liquid clays. I've not tried any of the regular coloured ones, so I don't know about those, but it'd be something that you'd have to try, I guess. Right, so I'll cover the entire back, and then just pick which is your best side for it to be showing. So I'm going to go with this one, and I'm just placing it over the back, and then our ornaments can have got enlarged a little bit when we've been adding our decoration on. So what I advise you do is, when you do that, just hold your finger on one side and sort of just pull at the clay just slightly. You don't want to be tearing it, but you want to stretch it enough so it goes out right towards the edges. And then if there's any like little imperfections, like there's this here again, not the top part, but say if you do get something like that, then you want to avoid getting fingerprints on. Sorry for the rattling then. I thought I got a baby wipe out. So like, you just put it on the end of your finger and just smooth away if there's any indentations that you want to get rid of, and it just evens them out. but I don't think many people are going to be looking at the back of the decoration, to be honest, anyway. But if you're like me and you want to make the back finished as nice as the front, then it's just an option for you to do. So I'm just going to take the little paintbrush that I used before. I'm just going to roll around the outside, and that sort of gives it a beveled edge, so it's not got that stark contrast. Now if you don't want to do it with the brush or whatever you're using to you can use your fingers, but again it's another thing that if you're not wanting to get fingerprints onto your work, so that's just the only reason that you can really need to do it with a tool. Or you could still try with just the baby wipe. It's essentially just doing the same thing, it's just that you'd be using your fingers and the wet wipe rather than a rounded tool. Now, because you put clay underneath, if you've used a coloured one like me and you've got a clay on the front that's not the same colour, just go along with your wet wipe just to get it to come off, because this one's got white on the top. I don't want that gold coming out any further. Okay, so I've got that done, and then I just need to mark with my little holies. So turned it over and just touching it just a little bit with my needle tool. I'm going to turn it over now, and I'm wanting to make a large hole because I use the ball tool to make the hole, so I'm just going to push that through there and round, and that will make the beveled edge on the little hole for the hook. And then the last thing I'm going to do on these is my husband made me a little stamp which has got my logo on, just for me as a signature for me to put on the back of my projects. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to press it in just at the bottom, and then I've got my signature on. So if you've got something like that and you've got your own signature that you want to put on the back to it, this is the stage to put it in. So I'll go and do the other three and I'll pop them in the oven. I'll be back when they're all done. All my ornaments are finished and baked and ready to be hung on a tree. So I've really enjoyed making these. I hope you've enjoyed watching me put them together and the process. Like I said, this is just my take on a version of the clay disarray lady. Again, I can't remember her name, so I do apologise. If anyone knows her name, please let me know in the comments. I don't want to keep calling it clay disarray lady. So yeah, these are just some nice ornaments that you can either make as a gift to give to somebody, so they've got a memory of you each and every year when they bring them out, or just to decorate for your own tree yourself. So if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments, I'll be happy to answer them. And if you've liked the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you consider subscribing, that would be appreciated too. And check out my Etsy shop for cutters and things like that, and that'll be in the description box below. So thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Bye.